Okay, let's continue on with our solving problems. By now you should be able to do one-step problems and know how to cross over the equal sign. You should be able to do the two-step problems. You can deal with problems that have x's and y's, multiple x's on one side, or like terms and doing all that. This one is the dreaded, I've got letters and numbers on both sides. Here I have an x, here I have a number, here I have an x, here I have a number. Which one is the letter side, which one is the number side? How do we handle these? Well, don't freak out too much because you'll notice you actually have a lot of choices. It's just rearranging. We're just rearranging the furniture a little bit, okay? And we want to get letters on one side, numbers on the other. Some people like to get all the letters on the left and the numbers on the right. That's fine. If you love doing that, you can do that. However, I like to see it where everybody keeps the letters positive. Because if you can keep the letters positive, you can't always do it, but if you can, usually people make less mistakes with sign errors. So you do it however you want. But let's just look at this. I have some choices. Again, we're just rearranging. It does not matter what your first step is. You could go minus 5x minus 5x, making sure that the x's are lined up. Don't write minus 5x by the 8. He's a number, he's a letter, they don't mix. Okay, so I would have to put it there. I could solve and come up with an answer, okay? I could do this. I want to move the 2 over here. Minus 2, minus 2. That could be my first step. When you do the first step, the rest is going to become clear to you. I could make that choice, okay? I could also do this though. I could go minus 3x minus 3x. And when I end up doing that, you're going to notice they're going to go away and I'm going to have a positive 2x. I kind of like that. So that's a choice. The other choice I can make is I can go minus 8 minus 8. Okay? Whatever choice you make, you're going to get the right answer. So don't worry about making the wrong decision. What I advise my students, again, is to keep them positive. And I notice that if I subtract my 3x here and I subtract my 3x here, I'm going to end up with a positive 2x. And I like that. It makes me happy. Okay? So right now, let's go ahead and go black ink on this one. Okay? I'm going to get 2x. I'm just going to drop the plus 2. Equals, they die, they become 0, equals 8. Now I just have a normal two-step problem, which we did in a previous video. So I'm going to subtract the 2 because I want to get my numbers on one side. And I end up with 2x equals 6. And then I divide by 2, boom, x equals 3. Okay? So you notice you're just left with a two-step problem. All you have to do is make a decision, okay? Doesn't matter what you make. Let's go on to the next one here. Again, I won't go through all 4 choices like I did on the first one. But when I look at this one, I go, if I go plus 2x, I usually like to start with the x's or the y's or whatever the variable is. If I do this, I'm going to have a positive 9, and I like positive numbers. Positive numbers make me happy. So I'm going to go like this. Not that negative numbers make me sad, but I'm just a little happier when they're positive. It's good to be positive. I'm going to have a negative 5. That's the part where if you make a mistake, people might make a mistake. Yeah, this crosses out, they die, but it's a negative 5 that's left over, so you have to bring down the negative as well. Equals, this right here is going to be a 9x plus 13. I'm just going to drop it down. Now, letters on one side, numbers on the other. So now, I notice that there's a number here and a number here. I've got to remove the furniture, and the only way by doing that is to subtract the 13 here and subtract the 13 here. Okay, they die, and I'm left with 9x equals, well, what's negative 5 minus 13? Well, add a line, change the sign. Make sure you always do that. It's negative 5 plus negative 13, which is a negative 18. I'm going to divide each side by 9, and boom, and I'm going to get x equals negative 2. I flip them around, but it doesn't matter, again, what side the x is on. It's fine. Try to not worry about that so much. Let's look at this one. Let's start with the y's. When I look at the y's, I like to keep them positive. So if I go minus 2, I've got a negative and a negative. I might make a mistake. But if I go plus 4, cool, they stay positive. So I'm going to go plus 4y, and I'm going to go plus 4y. Boom. Let me use my black pen here. 6, I did nothing with them, so I'm going to copy them. 2y plus 4y is a positive 6y equals, I didn't do anything with him, but watch, he has a negative sign, so I have to copy the negative sign, and they die. And that's what I get when I make my first decision, okay? Now, I have a number, a letter, and a number. Let's get all the numbers together. I'm gonna have to go -6, -6. Well, I got that drafted negative minus a number anyway, so no big deal. Cross that out, and I'm left with 6y. Do I have to write the plus sign? No, because I already know that it's gonna be a negative, or it's gonna be a positive, so we don't have to write that. Now, add a line, change the sign. That's -12 plus -6, which is -18, because you guys are really good at your negative numbers by now. Divide by 6, boom, y equals -3. Okay? And the very last one that we'll do right here, again, I'm going to start with my y's. If I go +5, I'm still going to get a -8. I'm going to get a negative number. But if I go +8, it's going to stay positive. Okay? Not that that's a big deal. You know what? Let's not do it. Let's say we don't want to do that. I'm going to move him over there. Fine, let's just make it happen. We can do that. We can do anything we want to do, as long as it's within the rules. -3, because I just dropped him down. Gone. -5 plus 5, boom, die. Now, -8 plus 5 gives me a -3y. I'm just going to copy down to -9. Now I'm just back to a two-step problem, which we've been doing. You guys know how to do this. Number, letter, number. Let's get all the numbers. Let's rearrange the furniture. Let's move the 9 here. Remember, when we cross the equal sign, we have to do the opposite. So I'm crossing the equal sign, boom, die. What am I left with? -3 plus 9. Boy, that's bad penmanship. I don't do well when I go down here. I better just write things high. That's going to be a +6 equals, they die, -3y. I divide each side by a -3. Boom, die, y equals -2. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to have some worksheets available for you, and I'm going to work them out. So just do those with me, and as you start practicing these, you're going to find it's not so bad. Just make a decision, and then once you make a decision, it's all going to work out. It's just a two-step problem once you make a decision. All right, well, I sure hope that helps you. I sure hope you're feeling comfortable with solving these basic equations.